Hello, 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 my fellow beauty entrepreneurs. I'm here with celebrity stylist Jamal. Now, I don't even know that you have a last name. Do you have a last name?
Yes, Jamal Edmonds.
Okay, so he's just known as Jamal, okay? So Jamal, welcome to Words of Wisdom Wednesday, where we showcase a different beauty entrepreneur every week. Tell the viewing audience a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Jamal Edmonds, and I'm from Washington, D.C., born and raised. I'm a salon owner 2 times, so I have one in Maryland and one in Washington, D.C. I'm also a Mazzani artist. This is my teammate. And I do a little editorial work. Again, I'm a platform stylist and educator, so I've been doing this for about it's been about 23 years now.
All right.
I know I look young, but
I say the same
it's been
thing.
about 23 years now, and I enjoy it. I love it. It's my passion. Like, I feel like I was put on this earth to do this, and I also like to really share.
That's good.
Sharing everything that I learn and going around the world, just sharing techniques, whether it's business or whether it's actual hair techniques or just inspiring the industry and trying to lift it up, because I believe that we have the potential to do so much, and there's so many different things that you can do in the industry. It doesn't just have to be behind the chair. I mean, it's so many things that you can do.
It is so many, and you're doing
is.
so many. I remember when I first met you, I had seen, we have the magazines in the salon. You know
Yes.
what I'm talking about. I can't
Yes.
think of the name of them. You can tell me.
I think it was like Mazo or Passion.
Yeah,
or
so
something that.
like the big magazines that we have in the
Yes.
salon, I'm flipping through and I'm like, I know him. Oh my word, he's on the same Mazzani team.
Yeah.
So his work is featured in the
Yes.
magazines, and then you do the editorial work. Speak to the viewing audience about the editorial work, because a lot of the audience are in the salon.
Yes.
So tell them about the other options that they have.
And so editorial work means like when you're working on set, you're doing like commercials, or you can do models for print or whatever. But for me, I don't do it a lot, but it does kind of break up the monotony of just being behind the chair.
Okay.
So I do enjoy that, that part of it, because sometimes I'm such a creative mind and creative being. I think that being trapped in one place for such a long time is like, I'm ready to get out and do something else. So I love the fact that the industry just allows me to kind of move around a bit, like teaching at shows and doing editorial stuff. Editorial stuff is very fun for me because you can be as creative as you want. Sometimes you get stuck in a salon, and the clients aren't always as fun. Or,
Right.
sometimes I have a lot of corporate clients where they don't really take risks as far as styling, and
Right.
so doing editorial work, it kind of gives me that creative outlook, and I love it, and it's also I love the fact that I can be creative, and then I love bringing a vision to life. So you go from like creating a look or storyboarding a look to actually doing it on a model, and then seeing everything come together with the help of photographers and makeup artists and wardrobe stylists. We just did a huge shoot for Naha, so
I'm so excited.
yeah, I am too. So for you that don't know what Naha is, it's North American Hairstylist Awards, and it's this huge, like, it's almost like the Grammys of hair.
It is the Grammys of hair.
Yeah.
It's not almost like it is. It is.
So it's like the Grammys of hair, and they have different categories. And I entered twice, and I feel really good about my entries this year. I'm entering the texture category, and so I can't really tell you about it. You have to tune in. Hopefully I'll place. Well, hopefully I'm nominated, but like, I would be so excited. I worked so hard on the shoot. It took about maybe 3 or 4 months to actually prepare for it. And we was going back and forth to New York every other week. We did a model call. We kind of created like storyboards by PowerPoint. Then we had a concept meeting, so we had to pitch the concepts to the people that we were working with. And we actually had a mentor, and the mentor like walked us through each and every process or each and every step of the actual shoot. So it was very, very instrumental to me in just growing as an editorial stylist. And I feel like the little golden nuggets that I took away from that, hopefully one day I'll be able to coach people that eventually want to enter Naha, because it is really a big, it's a huge deal.
It's a big deal, and I'm just so excited that you and one of our counterparts, Evie, is going to be a part of this process. And I just got so excited when I heard that you guys were going to do it, and I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to sit down and talk to you and share your story with our beauty entrepreneurs that's viewing. Now, one thing, I know what a storyboard is, but a lot of them don't. So kind of talk us through that process of what storyboarding looks like.
So storyboarding is basically when you come up with a concept. So say for instance you are your inspiration, or you want to do like a blonde hair model, or you want to create a blonde story. So what you would do is you would take inspiration from magazines or online or whatever, you print them out, and then you actually come up with a board full of inspiration. And inspiration could come from anywhere. It can come from architecture, it could come from food, it could come from earth tones, or anything. Whatever inspires you. It could be cars, it could be skin tones, whatever it is that inspires you, or like runway trends or whatever it was. And so what I did was I came up with just an inspirational board. So everything in my life that inspired me. So I'm inspired by art, pop culture, architecture. Like I actually thought that I was going to be an architect when I was younger, which is crazy. But those are the things that inspired me. And so what I did was took a board and I put all of the inspiration on it. And then I figured out, well, how does this inspiration translate into what I want to do? So then I pulled hair trends together. And I put the hair trends together, and then I came up with a concept. And typically, anyone that's really creative, and if you're into editorial shooting, you have to figure out, it's instrumental for you to figure out how you can create the storyboard, because it'll bring your vision to life. And I think that people don't realize a lot of times you go into these things and you're just thinking, oh, I have this idea. But storyboarding helps. Practicing helps. So before I actually went to the shoot, I took weeks and weeks of just practicing the look, perfecting it, figuring out what worked and what didn't. So when I actually got on set, it was very seamless. So I was able to execute the looks without hesitation. So
that's awesome. And that's crystal clear on what storyboarding is. It's funny, while you were talking, I'm looking at you, and I'm like, and your hair reminds me of a palm tree right now. So it's like the inspiration can come from any and everywhere. Yes. So it's two more questions, and then we'll close. So the first one is, what is it that you know now that you wish you knew when you first started? That's question number one. And then question number two would be, leave our viewing audience with a business tip. So what do you know now that you wish you knew back in the day?
So for me, I know to work hard. And I feel like I worked hard in the beginning, but I also feel like I didn't always execute everything because I didn't have a plan. So I feel like working hard, kind of creating a plan and what you want to do, knowing exactly what it is, and being consistent. Like consistency is key. And I feel like in our industry, period, what we learned today, it's like when you don't have the consistency, I think you're not going to be as successful in just best business practices and things like that. I feel like now, the example that she used earlier about the restaurant, like when you go into any restaurant, you get the same exact service, whether it's a good restaurant or a bad restaurant. When you walk in and you get a greeting. When you walk in, you get a greeting. They'll then seat you. They'll ask you if you want a drink. They'll introduce themselves. And so it's almost like a flow to how you're greeted in a restaurant. And not every salon is like that.
That's true.
And which I thought like that was a great aha moment too, because in our industry, it should be the same.
Across
like
the board.
You should be able to go into a salon in Washington, D.C. and in a salon in Texas, and it should be the same experience. So I thought that was really genius, and I felt like those little nuggets, just dropping those nuggets and me just having those aha moments, I feel like if we all kind of share and figure out how we can do it, we can definitely elevate the industry with just all being on the same page.
I love that. And so then what's your business tip? When we talk about tips here on Words of Wisdom Wednesday, tips means teaching inspirational professional strategies. So give the beauty entrepreneurs a tip. We love to get some tips.
So let me think of a really good tip.
Okay.
I think the best tip that I would say for me is to be authentic to who you are. And I want to say consistency.
Okay.
I want to say practice consistency, whatever it is that you're doing. I feel like we're in this digital age of doing things, and so I see a lot of younger stylists coming up, and they just want this immediate success.
Ooh, you better talk about it.
Yeah, and it's just it doesn't happen that way. I mean, you have a few people that have become Instagram celebrities or social media celebrities, and that's good, but it doesn't happen to everyone.
Everybody.
It doesn't happen to everyone, and some people get lucky, and that's fine. But just being consistent, and you know what, education.
Key.
Education is key. I think that if you're educated and you can always provide education to your team and to your clients, it's always going to set you apart. And people aren't looking for like the best hairstylist. Someone will go to someone that's a mediocre stylist, but that's educated and that's going to provide excellent customer service before they go to just a great stylist.
Yeah.
I think that's what I've learned also. And so I preach consistency because, again, people just see, they don't really know the hustle. They don't really know the grind.
That's
see
it,
the end result.
Yeah.
And because everything is so, it's in a digital world, you see these finished images everywhere. And you don't realize that it took us 3 months
tell it, just to create
that.
Yes.
Or you don't know the time and the energy it takes in to prepare for these things. And so everything isn't instant. So just know that consistency is key.
Consistency is key. So thank you so much,
You
Jamal.
are so welcome.
I appreciate it. Give the viewing audience your contact information.
My contact information is I'm Jamal Edmonds, so at Jamal Edmonds EDMONDS at that's Instagram and Facebook, and JamalEdmonds.com is my website.
All right, thanks, Jamal.
You're welcome.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Teresa S. McCurry, the CIO of Inspire Me Incorporated. Be blessed, but most of all, be inspired. Thanks.
You're welcome.